welcome along to Where's My Sports At Overtime Edition. So today, me and Phil, we're going to be talking about the in-season tournament.
How about that, Jimmy? I feel like it was over so quick, but at the same time, uh, it was so good, so enjoyable.
Yeah, it's sort of reinvigorated the NBA. It's good to have something in the middle. I was wondering how it was all going to work, and the whole color thing was throwing me off. I was thinking, oh man, I'm I'm starting to see things and going, it hurts my eyes. But the more it progressed, the more exciting it became.
Yeah, I'll stand by my earlier comments. I'm still not a fan of that red or blue court. That was still hard for the viewing, but as a concept, to excite you about the beginning of the season, and I like how it's over fairly quick without being too quick, and it doesn't take any emphasis away from the hype that leads into All-Star break. And it's over at the time when we start talking about potential MVPs and the sort of early season MVPs and that sort of thing. So it is quite neat to have that little thing packaged at the front end.
Yeah, I did think about that with the MVP conversation. Everyone saying, Tyrese Halliburton's performing like Steve Nash from the it was it late '90s, early 2000s, and like, yeah, but it's only like what 25 games into the season. You can't compare MVPs just yet. It's stupid.
Yeah, well, I mean, you did right. We're about a quarter of the way through, so it would be appropriate to there's those early season at least predictions because you've got a good amount of games um to base their performances on.
Yeah, man, and that's the thing, right? Like, it's great that Tyrese Halliburton has started showing up on the big stage. I think that was one of the big things of the tournament where he looked like he was, how do you say it, switched on, or he was jacked in, or whatever you say, whatever the kids say these days. It was quite cool to see how focused he was in each game of that tournament and really taking control, and his team getting behind him as well, because he
Yeah,
wasn't just scoring like 40 points and getting things. He was only scoring like 26, 27 points, but getting 15, 16 assists.
stupid amounts of assists. It's absolutely incredible how well he's been playing. To think for a guy that was taken barely in the lottery. I remember at the time watching that draft and the commentators, the experts, couldn't believe how far he was dropping. Yeah, Halliburton, he is the Pacers. And
Yeah.
it wasn't that long ago where Miles Turner was getting thrown up as NBA and trade rumors. Obviously, they shipped out Domantas Sabonis to get Halliburton, and I haven't heard about Turner being in trade negotiations or trade rumors recently. He seems to be forming quite the formidable pair with Tyrese.
Yeah, it's very cool. And like over to the Lake show, because I am a personal LeBron fan, but not necessarily I'm sort of a Lakers fan, but more a LeBron fan because the rest of the team goes around them. Um, Pleased that Anthony Davis decided that the one good game he's going to have this year is in a final. Very pleased about that.
Yeah, yeah, and he didn't get injured this whole sort of start of the season. How good's that? Showing good signs. Like I say that, with the tongue sort of pressed against the side of my cheek, but there's a whole nother season, rest of the season to go. Um, yeah, I even like a guy or just like a guy. I you never like to see them being injured, and you never like to see them, not being out on the court, you know, living up to their potential. And there's nothing worse than a team saying, "Oh, we would have won if we had blah." Well, you've got blah now, so let's actually see what you can do. And the Lakers. I don't know, James. What do you reckon? There's and knockout tournaments are one thing, 7 game series are another. LeBron is getting older. He's supposed to only be on minute restrictions, but if this is his last hurrah, he could push the boat out and and just really just let everything go. I'm talking Matthew Dellavedova, needs to have fluid and hit him at the end of a game after marking Steph Curry type pushing the boat out.
Yeah, I think LeBron, it's great to see that he really wanted this and he made a big deal of it, which was, I think, has given the tournament a lot more validity moving forward. And
Lots of credibility.
Yeah, and seeing the crowd as well being fully involved, it was almost looking like a proper NBA Finals game. So pretty cool, and says a lot for Vegas too, with them having the tournament there and for the final in particular. So I mean, massive positives. Big ups to Adam Silver for coming up with something innovative as well.
Yeah, I saw a tweet the other day, and it said, um, you know, NBA tournament, play-in tournament, is something or other else, and it was just like he's absolutely new commissioner, absolutely killing it. And I have to agree, playing tournament, I think it's fun, it's funky, and also actually, James, I'd like to shout you out because in a previous pod, you made mention that the winner of the tournament, what do we think about giving them an automatic playoff spot? And what's Adam Silver just come out and said? That's something that we might look at doing. So, or whether it was him or at least there was commentary around it. And I was like, well, there you go. On the pulse, mate.
Exactly right. Nostra James must strikes again, or Nostra Jim must. Because that's one thing as well. Is like if they do go hard and win that in-season tournament, then could they tank the rest of the season? That's the other side to look at, right?
Yeah, you
You get
wouldn't
a
want the
team,
perverse behavior coming from that, would you?
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, does that impact their draft picks? And could that be another thing there? Give them an automatic top 5 draft pick.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, in the scheme of things, what is more valuable, having a playoff spot or having a top five or a lottery pick? Let's say lottery pick. Top
Yeah,
fives are very
lottery.
valuable, right? So, yeah, that's definitely something. Or if they went in the route of automatic plan spot, that eliminates you from having a lottery pick, and vice
True.
versa or something. So it's because it'd be rough if you got your automatic plan spot and you ended up finishing 10th or 11th, and you still got that top 10 lottery pick as well, and it's like, well, that's cake and eat it too territory. But if the if the commissioner deems it, let it be.
Yeah, let it be so. And I was just thinking then, like, could you imagine if a team like the Washington Wizards, for example, won the in-season tournament, automatically qualified for the finals, and then we're just out in straight sets? Like that's the worst case scenario, isn't it? If that happened, I'd be horrified.
Yeah, just straight sweep. Yeah, it would be awful. It wouldn't be good for the game or the the package that is the tournament and
But
everything that comes along with an NBA season.
yeah, man. But all in all, I'm a fan of it. I really like the in-season tournament and sort of made me think about what the playoff picture is going to look at mid-season, which I think that was the intention of it. And I think Adam Silver's been bang on the money with doing that. So well
I'm
done.
really, I'm really excited to see if those teams that performed really well in the tournament can keep that momentum going, or if they did leave it on the table, or they expressed all of their willpower towards that goal, and then they've sort of gassed themselves mentally a wee bit. So that'll be interesting, actually. Being this is the first tournament, so there's lots of different behaviors that we'll see coming out the back end of it. Also, as a side note, quite a big fan of the hardware that they were all given too. I thought that looked quite neat.
Yeah, that was sick. I was like, wow, this is cool. And Austin Reeves as well, flu game. The
Yeah, yeah. What did
big
LeBron say in the locker room? He was yelling out as he was getting interviewed. MJ or AR, who had the better flu game?
I actually like that's one thing there that I've got to mention is I really like LeBron and Austin Reeves' relationship.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they seem like best mates, and that's the thing. When I see all the trade rumors pop up, I'm like, there's no way they're trading Austin Reeves. No way.
No, they can't. Hillbilly Reeves also has a great nickname. I'm not sure if that's the nickname that he wants, but I'm pretty sure that's the one that he came in with. Was it? It was Hillbilly Reeves. I think there was like the White Mamba, not the White Mamba, but there was a reference to Kobe. Oh, because do you remember that Celtic player that Ginger Celtic player that he was called? He used to call himself the White Mamba.
Yes, I do. He I can't remember his name. Like he showed up for another, and there was a redhead guy as well that they called the Great White Hope.
Right.
So good. But
Yeah.
yeah, like interesting like I think the tournament definitely had its teething problems, and I think they will learn, especially with the courts. But each finals being held in Vegas, great idea. And I'm actually keen to go to one of these finals if we ever get sponsors or anything like that that comes in and wants to sponsor us. Hey man, if I get to go along to the NBA in-season tournament final, far I'd die a happy man.
We're here and we're ready for it. Brian Scalabrine. I can't believe I didn't remember his name. That's the white mamba. He was a character.
That's cool. That's cool. And like I think one of the good things about it as well is that they did good hype on the tournament as well. And as the tournament built, it started off as sort of a novelty, oh, this is here. And then as it built up, semi-finals come in, Halliburton took over, and it was like a contender has emerged. And then all of a sudden it's like built up, and then there's the hype of the final. So they've done it right that way as well. So many good points about the tournament. I can't speak highly enough of it.
Yeah, I mean, you raise a good point. Um, the thing I like about the tournament is it gave teams that might not be there at the end of the season in the playoff hope the opportunity to win something and to play for something. Anything can happen in an elimination game. Personally, I would have liked to have seen Pacers Pelicans. There's something about seeing teams there that probably aren't championship contenders, but that are playing at that high level and they've dialed themselves in and they've got themselves appropriately prepared. But unfortunately, Pelicans got blown out for, well, I mean, there's various different reasons that we can talk to that, but no, congratulations to the Lakers. It does add to LeBron's legacy. I think he was, hoping for that. He made the point that you can break records, but it's quite neat when you can be the first one to achieve something. So being the first team to win the in-season tournament, being the first person to win the in-season MVP, being one of the first five people on the team of the tournament. That's pretty special.
Yeah, mate. That's a good point actually that you say that, because when you talk about LeBron's legacy, the the longer it goes on, the longer the list, and maybe this is his final hurrah before Bronny J appears. But pretty darn cool to see that that's gone on the list of achievements. And at the end of his career, we'll look through and we'll just be like, man, I'm glad I held on to those LeBron cards.
Yeah, love him or hate him, you have to respect the talent and what he's achieved. Yeah, he had his critics early on in his season. He was a choke artist and he couldn't finish games and he'd pass up the last shot and this, that, and the next thing. It was quite horrific actually. But boy, did he silence all of those critics, and he's just continued to achieve things far into his middle late 30s that no one thought was possible. And James, it's year 21.
it is year 21. Like, oh, good on him. And one of the things I keep wondering of LeBron, like, does he go to year 23 and then just retires and goes, yep, I've done what I've wanted to do? Because I'm thinking 23 is probably going to be the year.
Bro, how cool would it be if he switched back and back? He's six of them, back to 23 in the year 23. That would mean that next year would be year 22. If Bronny declares, which I don't know if he would do one and done, that could be the first year that they play together, and maybe he plays 2 years with Bronny. But let's say he goes 2 years at USC, then in year 23, Bronny's a rookie. He's off contract. He just goes to wherever he gets drafted, and he has that last final season. That would be pretty cool. Again, love him or hate him, that would be cool to see. That would be maybe not a first. I think there's probably father and son have played before, but not at this profile.
Yeah. So the last thing there that I'll leave with us here, Phil. Out of 10, how was the in-season tournament?
10 being incredibly awesome and one being very poor.
Yes.
Nothing's perfect. So on a full rating scale, you'll never get a 1 and you'll never get a 10. I'll give it a modest 7.9.
I like it. I like it. I'm going 8.2. So if we combine the scores, probably about an 8
Y-
overall.
Yep, yep, I'll give it
Solid
that.
8. I think
Solid
that's
eight.
good, mate. Well done. Well
Yeah.
done, good sir.
Yes, very classy.
Yeah. Pleasure doing business with you. Cool. Well, that's all we've got time for today on Where's My Sports at Overtime Edition. So thank you for joining us. If you've got any topics you want us to discuss, please send us a message on our Instagram feed and we will check it out and get back to you. So, Phil, again, brother,
Cheers,
cheers.
Jimmy. Here we are. We're living it. Love your
Living that
work.
dream.